everyone, welcome to DaryaCrochetLife. My name is Darya. Today I have a really cute tutorial for you. We are gonna knit baby booties. Look how pretty they are. It is very simple tutorial, but I don't recommend it as a first project. So you should be familiar with knitting, purling, and it would be good if you know how to use magic loop method. Please like this video, share it, and subscribe to my channel. It's gonna be so many good, useful information. Okay, so here you can see everything that we need for our baby booties. So first of all, let's talk about the yarn. I'm gonna use Estelle yarn Superwash Merino in DK weight. So this is 100% merino wool. And in 50-gram ball, we have 125 meters. So, and they recommend us to use 4mm needles, which I'm gonna use anyway. And if you like this pinky color, this is its number. As I told you, I'm gonna use 4mm needles. And I decided to take circular needles. Yeah, those are characteristics of my needles. US 6, 4mm. And yeah, I'm gonna use circular needles, but you can take double-pointed needles as well. So take 5 double-pointed needles, and you can make this project on such needles as well if you are not so good with circular needles. Those are main materials that we need for the project. Let's talk about notions. So you will need scissors, you will need a tapestry needle, you will need crochet hook for weaving the ends when we're gonna finish the booty, and you will need marker. And I didn't bring it here, but you definitely will need a measuring tape. Okay, let's begin knitting. So first we'll begin our booties from the sole. The size that I'm gonna make fits babies, I would say like newborns to maybe 3 months. So the length of the sole would be about 9.5 to 10 centimeters. If you use the same type of yarn that I'm gonna use, so you will just repeat the same amount of stitches. If your yarn is different, so probably you need to cast on a smaller amount of stitches or more amount of stitches. So you need to decide that yourself. So first I'm gonna cast on 8 stitches, and I'm gonna use long tail cast on method. So I'm leaving a long tail, but for 8 stitches I don't want it to be too long, and making the first knot. So I'm making a slip knot, first loop, insert 2 of my needles into this loop, and now I'm ready for casting on my stitches. So now I need to make 7 more stitches. So using long tail cast on method, cast on 7 more stitches, or 8 in total. I have 8 stitches. Then I'm making a simple knot here at the end, taking away 1 needle, and ready to begin my first row. In first row I will knit all my 8 stitches. I'm gonna knit using continental style, but you can knit in any style you want, English style, continental style, anything. So knit all stitches in the first row. Then turn your work. In this project, I'm gonna slip the first stitch, but that's very important. So now our sole would be in garter stitch pattern. So that means that we will knit all stitches in all rows. In every row we knit all our stitches. But the first stitch in second and all other rows, I'm gonna slip. That's very important to understand how to slip the first stitch properly. Let me show you what I mean. So if the last stitch in previous row was knitted, naturally the working yarn will lay in front of the work like this. If you have this situation, that means you have to slip the first stitch. You have to insert your right needle purlwise from right to left, and then you are ready for your next row. In our case, we are gonna knit. So that means I need to put the working yarn at the back, going between two of my needles. I'm putting the working yarn at the back. And now I can make the second row. In second row, I make 8 stitches again. So I don't increase. I should have 8 stitches in total. So I slip the first and then I knit 7 stitches. So knit to the end. Finish the second row, turn my work. And again, my working yarn is in front. That means that in order to slip the first stitch, I go purlwise. If I'll go knitwise, and then I put the working yarn at the back, look what can happen. This stitch would be twisted. And here at the side, we want to have really nice and beautiful edge, which of course I don't want. So that's why I have to insert my right needle purlwise and slip the first stitch. So I'm slipping the first stitch, and in third row I'm gonna make increase. So then I need to increase one. After I slipped one stitch, I need to make one increase. How to do that? I'm gonna use this piece of yarn that goes from, that is like between two stitches, this one. I go from the back, take it, like make it like a yarn over, put it into the left needle, and then I can make a knit stitch, but in this case I will insert my needle purlwise. So actually this is how you make one stitch. If you don't know this technique, just go and check how to make one stitch in knitting. So I made one extra stitch, then I knit to last stitch. So I don't need to count, to be honest. Come to the last stitch and then I increase one more stitch. So make one more stitch. I'm gonna increase the same way. Increased one more stitch and then knit the last stitch. Now you should have 10 stitches on your needle. Turn your work, slip the first stitch purlwise, knit all your stitches to the end. Turn your work, slip first stitch purlwise, and that will be next increase row, the second increase row. We're gonna make it the same way as we did the previous increase row. So make one stitch, knit to the last stitch, make one stitch, and knit last stitch. So you should have 12 stitches on your needle. After that, I want you to knit without any increases 27 rows. So starting from row number 6 to 32, you knit without any increases or any decreases. And don't forget that you have to slip the first stitch, and you slip it purlwise, and then you put the working yarn between two needles at the back, and then you're making your knit stitches. Knit to the end. That would be row number 6. Put tally marks because you need to have exactly the same number of rows for 2 of your baby booties. Turn your work, slip the first stitch purlwise and knit to the end, and work like this till the row 32. So I finished 32 rows in total from the beginning. I have 32 rows, and now it's time to decrease, to make several decrease rows. So I slip the first stitch in the next row. Next 2 stitches I knit 2 together. Then I knit to last 3 stitches in a row. See, last 3 stitches, knit 2 together, next 2 stitches, and knit the last stitch. That was the row 33. Turn my work, row 34. I should have 10 stitches on my left needle, slip the first stitch and knit to the end without any decreases. Next, row 35, turn my work, slip the first stitch purlwise and make another decrease, so knit 2 together, knit 2 last 3 stitches in this row, knit 2 together and knit 1. That was row 35. In the last row 36, it should be 8 stitches on my left needle. I slip the first stitch and knit all other stitches to the end. This is what you should have at the end of 36 rows. So this is the shape of the sole. And if I measure it now, it will be about 9 centimeters, but we will add a little bit more on the next rows, so the total sole will be about 9.5 or 10 centimeters. Next, we need to pick up the stitches like in a round. So we'll pick it up on this side, then on this side, and on this side. If you use double pointed needles, so you just pick left those stitches on one needle, then pick those stitches on another needle, pick these stitches on third needle, and this one to the last needle. Since I'm using the circular needles, I'm just moving the stitches that I already have to the cord, then taking the needle and I will pick it into the same needle. So because we slip the first stitch in every row, we have a really nice edge, really easy to pick stitches edge. So starting from the first stitch, so this is the first stitch, the last stitch on this side, and that would be the first place that we're gonna use for our picking up. So I insert my needle like this, grab the working yarn and pull it through, and I will have another stitch on my needle. So if that would be hard for you to do like that, you can use crochet hook. The hardest thing would be to grab the working yarn. So how I'm grabbing the working yarn, I'm going like over the yarn and pull it through the stitch. Why I do it like that? Because I need the left side of the stitch to be in front and the right side to be in front and the left to be at the back. And in total on this side I need to pick up 19 stitches. So I have 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, and the last one would be this one, 19. After that, I move my needle, so move the stitches to the cord. I don't need this loop here. And on this short side, I need to pick 8 stitches. Let me show you how to use the crochet hook. So I insert the crochet hook into the first space, grab the working yarn, so crochet hook goes on top of the needle, of the working yarn, sorry, and I pull it through the stitch. This is 1. This is 2. This is 3. This is 4, 5, 6, 7, and from these it should be 8 from this knot. Because this one, it is on the side. So of course my stitches are too tiny, too small now, but when I move them to the needle, they should be the right size. And on the other side, I need to pick up 19 more stitches, the same way how we picked stitches on this side. I'm picking up stitches on the last side, and I have 18 now, and it seems like I don't have enough space for my last stitch, so that means that I'm gonna use, let me show you, this last chain I'm gonna use twice. So first I insert my needle through the like front side and pick the stitch, and then I insert my needle through the back side and pick the stitch. So you should have 8, 19 stitches. Then take the marker and put it here. The marker will show us the beginning of the row. So in total we have 54 stitches right now. So now we can work in magic loop method. Next 3 rows I'm gonna purl. So next 3 rows you need to purl all stitches. How to do this using circular needles? That's easy. We are gonna work using magic loop method. So you can count and try to find the middle of your row. So this is the beginning of our row. I don't want to count, so probably the middle would be somewhere here. I'm taking the cord from the middle and create a loop from the cord. Then I put my needles, my stitches that I'm gonna work, the front stitches. So now I will have 2 needles. One is in the front, one is at the back. So the front stitches go to the needle. The back needle, I create a cord loop like this, and then I can start making my purl stitches. So why it's magic loop? Because I have 2 loops from the cord, and I purl all stitches to this side, to the middle of the row. Finishing this side of my stitches. Then turn my work. Now what I have in front stitches on the cord, at the back stitches on the needle. So I need to take this left cord, left loop, and move my stitches to the needle, because this is now our front. So in the front I should have stitches on the needle. Then I'm taking the back needle and moving the stitches to the cord. And now I can work second part of this row. So I'm gonna purl all stitches to the end, to the marker. Finishing this row, making the last purl stitches. Then turn my work. In front I have stitches on the cord. So what does it mean? That means I need to move stitches in front to the needle. Make sure that you are not losing this marker. Actually, I can take it down for now. Put marker to another needle and then move the back needle like this. So move the stitches at the back to the cord. So we did 1 purl row. You need to make 2 more purl rows using the same magic loop method. And after that you need to make 3 knit rows, then 3 purl rows, 3 knit rows, and 3 purl rows. So we will make like stripes, and it should be each stripe consists of 3 rows, and each stripe would be, one stripe would be purl stitches, next stripe would be knit stitches, a third stripe would be purl stitches, and so on. So you're making 1 knit, 1 purl stripe, 1 knit, 1 purl, 1 knit, 1 purl. So in total there would be 5 stripes. Work like this, don't increase, don't decrease. Work on 54 stitches, 5 stripes. So I finished 5 stripes. Let me show you. So my first stripe is 3 rows, 3 purl rows. Second stripe, 3 knit rows. Third stripe, 3 purl rows. Fourth, 3 knit stripe. 3 knit rows, sorry, and the last stripe is 3 purl rows. So this is how it's supposed to look like at this point. Next, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna move all stitches to the cord. And the next 8 stitches, we'll count 8 stitches, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and take the cord from this point and put it on the left needle. So now I'm gonna work just with those 8 stitches. I will go this way, so close it here to create like a sock shape, and I will always have 8 stitches on this needle. And again, I will the pattern would be the same, so I will make it in the same stripes. So 3 rows would be purl, 3 knit, 3 purl, 3 knit, and so on. So in total we'll make 6 stripes, and the first stripe is gonna be knit, because here we have purl, so next is gonna be knit. Let me show you how to do that. So I put the working yarn at the back and knit 7 stitches. So I knit the next stitch, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I knit to last stitch. Then I'm joining those 2 stitches and I will knit them 2 together. So next 2 stitches I knit 2 together. And I should have 8 stitches again on my needle. Turn my work. In order to have knitted stripe on this row, I'm gonna purl and I will slip the first stitch. The last stitch in the previous row was I did knit 2 together, so there was like knit. That means that the working yarn now is in front. That is sign for me that I need to slip the first stitch purlwise. Slip the first stitch purlwise and purl to last stitch in this row. So that means purl 6 stitches. Okay, I have one last stitch, so I need to purl it together with the next stitch. So I'm moving those 2. So the rule is to work 2 together at the end of the row. And you should be very careful with what kind of row you are making. So that was purl row. Turn my work, slip the first stitch, but look, this time my working yarn is at the back. Like when I put it in front, no, the working yarn goes from the back. Okay, this is the sign for me that I need to slip the first stitch knitwise. I slip it knitwise and knit to last stitch in a row, so knit 6 stitches. That would be the 3rd row of our first stripe. Each stripe consists of 3 rows. Next 2 stitches I'm gonna knit 2 together. Knit 2 together. Okay, so one more time. You slip the first stitch, then you work to the last stitch and then work last stitch with the next stitch, like 2 together. And you should be very careful. Please count all the time that you still have 8 stitches on this needle. And we finished the first stripe. Next stripe on the right side, it should be purl. So that means on the other side we knit our stitches. I slip the first stitch purlwise in this case and knit to last stitch, and then knit two together the next two stitches. Knit two together. Turn my work. So we started the second stripe, which is purl stripe. Slip the first stitch, purl to last stitch, and next two stitches purl two together. In total, I'm gonna make 6 stripes. I'm almost done the second stripe. So purl two together. Okay, turn my work. Working yarn is laying at the back, slipping knitwise the first stitch and knitting to last stitch in a row. That would be the last row of this second stripe. Then knit two together, next two stitches. Knit two together. So I finished 2 stripes. Next would be the stripe which is knitted on the right side. So I slip the first stitch purlwise and knit to last stitch, and next two knit two together. Turn my work, slip the first stitch purlwise, purl to last stitch, and next two purl two together. And the last row in this third stripe, I am slipping the first stitch knitwise, knit to the last stitch in a row, and the last stitch I'm joining with next stitch and working them as knit two together. So the same way you need to continue. So we finished 3 stripes, 1 knit stripe, purl stripe and knit stripe. In total you need to make 6 stripes. So next stripe would be purl, then knit and purl. So you finish with 1 purl stripe. You slip the first stitch in a row and work the last stitch as 2 together. And pay attention very carefully what kind of row you are making, knit or purl row. Okay, this is what you should have after knitting 6 stripes. So knit stripe, purl stripe, knit stripe, purl stripe, knit stripe and purl stripe. And here in the round you should have 36 stitches. After that we will work and we will make ribbon. We will work, so we will make 2 by 2 ribbon, which means 2 knit stitches, 2 purl. So the pattern is 4 stitches, 2 knit, 2 purl. I'm gonna knit the first stitch But in order not to do like this, put the working yarn at the back and knit the first stitch and have some strange situation here, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna slip it first from left needle to right, then put the working yarn at the back, go in between two needles, and then put this stitch back into the left needle. And then I'm gonna start my pattern, which is 2 knit 2 purl. So I knit 1, knit 2, then purl 1, purl 2, knit 1, knit 2, purl 1, purl 2. Yeah, by the way, I forgot to put the marker at the beginning of the row. Let me do it now. So here is the beginning of our row, so I will put the marker. And I will continue working on these stitches, working with my ribbon pattern. Yeah, I ended with 2 purls, so next should be 2 knit stitches. Next 2 purl and 2 knit. So work like this to the end of this row. I worked 1 row in my pattern, 2 knit 2 purl, and I came to the marker, and here I want to show you something. Okay, something happened to my stitch. No. So here, if I work as is and like start the next row with 2 knit, I will have a hole here, like small hole, which I don't want, to be honest. So I decided to make a trick. So I'm taking this yarn and doing the same as we did at the beginning with the sole. So I'm make 1 stitch. Like this. So one more time. I took this strand that is between 2 stitches, this strand, I'm taking it from the back, I'm twisting it 1 time, and then insert the left needle and put it on the left needle. And then after that, I'm working next 2 stitches, like 2 together, knit 2 together, and knit next stitch. And here you won't have such a huge hole later when you finish the booty. So you have to work with this pattern 2 knit 2 purl for 28 rows in total. We've already done 1 row, so this is the 2nd row, and in total it would be 28. But of course you can change this number and do more rows or less rows. It's all up to you. So I finished my 28 rows in ribbon. This is how it looks like for now. And now I want to cast off the stitches. And I'm going to use the classic method to do that. So I work in pattern. So I knit first 2 stitches. And then I insert left needle into the first stitch, like this, from left to right, and pull the 2nd stitch through the first. While you're doing that, try to work loosely. So after you pull the stitch, make the stitch on the right needle a little bigger. Next 2 stitches would be purled. So I purl next stitch. That means casting off in pattern. Again, I have 2 stitches on my right needle. Insert left needle into the first stitch and pull the 2nd stitch through the first and drop it from the left needle. And adjust the size of the stitch on the right needle, make it a little bigger. Purl next stitch. and do the same what we've done with previous 2 stitches. So work like this until you close all stitches. I have just 1 stitch left, and in order to close the knitting, so I insert my right needle into, like, I'm trying to find the first stitch in a row. Actually, this, you see this line of knitted stitches, that's the first stitch. So I insert my needle like here and grab the working yarn. You know, that would be better to do with the crochet hook. So I insert my hook into the first stitch that I casted off, then wrap the working yarn around the hook, pull it through the stitch, and then I can slip it to the stitch. So again, I have 2 stitches on my right needle, and with the help of left needle, I'm closing it absolutely the same way as I closed all other stitches. But this time I want to tighten that. Cut the tail and pull this tail through the loop. Now we need to weave all the ends. How to do that? Again, with the help of the crochet hook. So I'm trying to find any loops that is close to the tail. Let's say this one, insert my hook there, grab the tail and pull it through that loop. Try to find another loop, grab the tail and pull it through the loop. And weave like this until the tail will be all in the knitting. You should weave all the ends that you have, the beginning tail, and so on. Yeah, I think that would be enough, and then I just cut this tail like this. Ta-da! My booties are ready. I hope you liked this tutorial. If you have any questions, leave me a comment. Please like and share this video if it was useful for you, and subscribe to my channel. Don't forget to ring the bell so you will receive notifications about all of my new videos. Happy knitting! Bye bye!